Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and back to another Urban Calisthenics workout of my full body calisthenics routine. In today's session, I've got for you a full body, no equipment calisthenics routine for which you'll be doing 5 exercises for 45 seconds of work with 15 seconds of rest for a total of 3 rounds. That's 18 minutes in total. Now, one of those exercises, the front to back lunge split squat combination, you'll be doing for a total of 45 seconds per side with the 15-second break in the middle, and that's what bumps it up to 6 minutes a round. As always, practice those instructionals before getting stuck in alongside a thorough warm-up, and I will leave a link in the description below for a warm-up that I feel is suitable for this routine, but by all means, do one of your own. That's enough from me. Let's see what's in store. So for the dive bomb push-up, you're going to start by moving into a pike support position, making sure the shoulders sit behind the hands, in this case around about 45 degrees. The hands are set up to around about shoulder width and the feet are set quite wide, hips are high and legs as straight as possible. As you work into the press, you're going to start by bringing the head in first, the chest in second and the hips in last. So I'm going to start by bending the arms, taking the head slightly in front of the hands, not too far. And as the head comes in, I'm going to start looking forwards, then I'm going to drive the chest to the floor without contact, and as the chest comes away, the hips will be last. From here, I'm just going to reset back into that pike position, sitting back through the hips, getting that 45-degree angle again between the shoulders and the hands, and then back into another. So head first, chest second, hips last. Also bringing the arms quite close to the body as you work into that press, so don't let your arms flare out to the side. So if this is too challenging and you can't get the depth with the dive bomb, what you can do is offer the same movement, albeit not going as far on the range. So again, it's going to be head in, but not quite to the floor. Chest can move forwards, hips can come in last. So I'm not moving as close to the floor as the previous one. So for the tuck ups, you're going to start by moving into a dish or hollow body position, making sure the legs are as straight as possible, feet quite close to the floor, lower back is as tight to the floor as possible. We're trying to bring those shoulders up by pushing the ribs down, get the arms to an overhead position and very close to the head. From here, you're going to swing the arms forwards and at the same time, bringing the knees into the body as close to the chest as you possibly can. The feet are off the floor and I'm taking the hands as far forwards as possible, bringing the shoulders forwards. All we do from here is revert back into our hollow body position, locking the legs out, making sure the shoulders don't come into contact with the floor, and then back into our tuck position. Every time we're going into our dish, let's make sure we're keeping that lower back in contact with the floor throughout. So for our plank leg sweeps, you're going to start by moving into a plank support position, making sure your forearms are parallel, your hands are separated, your shoulders are stable, your ribs are pulled in, and your pelvis is pulled under ever so slightly. From this position, you're going to start by taking one leg off the floor, pointing the foot if you can, with the intention of sweeping that leg to the outside of the body, rotating the hip as if you're trying to get the top of the foot pointing to the sky. You're going to minimize that rotation through the midsection, and once you reach that end point, you're going to sweep the leg back to its original position and do the same on the opposite side. So for our alternating tuck to L's, you're going to start by moving into an L position, placing one hand either side of the hips. From here, I'm going to press down through the floor, locking the elbows, depressing the shoulders, and as a consequence, the backside should lift off the floor. If this doesn't happen, you can get yourself a set of yoga blocks, placing one either side of the hips, and that should do the trick. So once you're in that elevated position with the backside, what you're going to do is start moving the feet in and out of the body. And we're simply going to move one in, move a second one in, move one out, move a second one out, and then repeat the process starting on the other side. As you'll see, as I move the legs in and out, the backside does not come into contact with the floor. So you're really having to work the shoulders, the back muscles, and the arms to keep the backside from touching the floor. So for our front to back lunge split squat combination, you're going to start by moving into a lunge position, trying to get to around about right angles on both legs. From here, the intention is to stay as low as possible as you step forwards with this back foot. So I'm going to try and keep the head at the same height. So I'm moving forwards, trying to get to that 90-90 position once again. Once you reach that position, the intention is to straighten both legs completely, drop the back knee to the floor, as close to it as you can, staying as low as you possibly can as you step back into the original position. So again, I step forwards, fully extend both legs, back knee to the floor, stay low as you step back. Now, just before we kick things off with the workout, I just want to let you know that if you want to gain access to the full Urban Calisthenics library, then head over to urbancalisthenics.com, where you can access over 100 calisthenics workouts with a new workout added every single week for just $4.99 a month. You can also take advantage of a 7-day free trial with no commitments and no payments up front. Now let's get into the workout. Thanks so much for taking part in this Urban Calisthenics workout. I hope you had a great time challenging yourself and breaking a sweat. If you did find this workout useful and beneficial, please give me a like and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. If you do want to gain access to the full Urban Calisthenics library, please visit urbancalisthenics.com where you can gain access to over 100 workouts with a new workout added every single week for just $4.99 a month. Keep up the great work, stay motivated, and I'll see you on the next workout.